How's it going, boys? Welcome back to the Odyssey. Grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack. It's time for my garlic. And time for me to talk about some stuff. I'll start with a story. Back in 2017, I trained a younger dude. I guess a Gen Z, you could say, a Gen Z dude, and he was asking me something, how something worked, or why something was a certain way, and he said, well, why does it work like that, or whatever, and I said, don't look for logic, because you're not gonna find it. I didn't realize at the time how profound that statement was, how true it was, because it was just a matter of fact to me. It was just like, don't look for logic. You're not gonna find it. You're wasting your time, because I had been down that road before. And anyway, no logic. Later on down the road, not down the road, later on that night, that same day, and I was training the dude. It was time for him to go and whatever. And his side work before he left was to mop. And despite the fact that he did not know how to mop, the dude was 17 and did not know how to mop. And I had to teach him. And so I said, it's like slow dancing. Have you ever done a slow dance, like a school dance or something? And he's like, no. I was like, wow, you never danced before. So he didn't know how to mop. He didn't know how to dance. And so I had to break it down in simple terms for him. Anyway, we got there, and I successfully taught dude how to mop. And boy, I tell you, he was a dopey fella. Not built for the restaurant crowd. He wasn't a very good restaurant employee. I'm sure he did other stuff well, but that was not his strong suit, man. So yeah, there's my story. What I wanted to talk about, maybe more of a question, is does anybody else have a mom, right? Do you have your mom still with you? Is your mom still with us? And if so, does she do the following? When you have a conversation with her, does she wait until the next day when you've forgotten the conversation and then spin it around on you? Does that happen, or is it just me? Does your mom uh, act like a teenage girl and play the victim when you just uh, say something that's like true? And don't get me wrong here. I don't want to just speak ill of my mom on the internet. I don't think that's a good thing to be doing. But you know, it's weighing heavy on me, and I gotta put it somewhere. So that's what I need to talk about. Anybody's mom like that? Do they do that stuff into their golden years that they did when they were in their 20s? I mean, does that really? Or am I dealing with a case of if it quacks like a narcissist, if it looks like a narcissist, if it sounds like a narcissist, what could it possibly be? I don't know. Maybe I just don't want to think that. And maybe it's true. But yeah, I don't want to think that. I don't want that to be the case. And nor do I want to be the narcissist either. Uh, but you know, she has this tendency to go on a tangent about the past, and every time she does that, she talks about my brother, and it's a bit of a sore spot for me because me and my brother, we didn't get along for most of my life. Uh, we only got along for a couple of years at the end. Uh, but most of it was we were at odds with each other for one reason or another. Um, but she goes on these tangents, you know, talking about the old days, talking about how he was struggling so hard, and he was doing this and he was doing that and he was going through this and it was so bad. And you know, after so long of that, you feel like, did you forget about me? Did you forget about me? Because I'm right here. You know, I'm right here. What am I? You know? So, and that, I think that tends to wear on a person. Maybe it'd probably wear on anybody, right? Uh, just constantly this tangential spiel of the same thing over and over, and it's always like it's just him, always him, and he was doing this, and he was so this, and he was so that. And it's like, where was I during all this? I was there too, right? You know, this is my life too. I was part of that too. And it seems like it slips through the cracks. And my father's side, they all forgot me. They they turned the other cheek when it all went down. And so for that to happen, and then be in discussion about those times and have to remember it all the time and be reminded of it all the time with these little tangents. It's like, and I feel like you forgot me too. So like, it was so painful for everybody else, but I don't get to be, you know, remembered or cared about, or, my pain isn't relevant to the conversation. It's my hurt, you know, isn't significant enough to consider. My hurt's just there, and nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to know about that. Nobody wants to hear it. And it makes you feel like you're forgotten. And maybe that's the case. Maybe everybody forgot me in the process. Maybe I really did slip between the cracks on everybody. They lost sight of me somewhere way back 20 years ago. And that's what I was really mad about. That conversation. And it just made me reflect on my life more. It made me reflect. It could, like I said, just reminded and reminded and reminded of the past. So for me, I remember things. I remember what was going on at the time. What was I doing? On top of that, what did I have to go through? And it's like nobody's aware. And then when I say it out loud, I'm the bad guy. I'm the motherfucker. Because I said something about it. Not even in a complaining way, just matter of fact. Hey, this time period was this, and that time period was that, and this is what was going down. Like, not even being riled up about it, just talking and saying, well, that time period was this, since you mentioned it. And it's like, I've said the worst thing in the world, just stating the obvious. I don't know what you call that. But yeah, that's what I was mad about. And I'm still mad about it. It's taken me a while to kind of figure out how to articulate it in a way that's more digestible. It's a tough thing to kind of say what you want to say, but craft it in a way that is a little bit more benign than some people might want to hear. Uh, and also, like I said, I need to put it somewhere, so it feels good to be able to have a platform, to be able to put it somewhere, so I don't gotta just sit with it. And maybe somebody could I could have somebody to bounce that idea off of, that thought process, bounce that thought process off on somebody and say, hey, well, what do you think about that? Am I so bad that everybody needed to forget me? At 16, was I such a horrible person at 16 years old that everybody needed to forget me? I didn't think I was. I don't think I am now. But I'm having trouble with the progression of my life. And I think as the older I get, I'm realizing more what the problem is, even though I don't want to see it. But anyway, that's about it.